Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. I'm Nur Fazira from Group 3 and other member Liliana and Fadila will present the topic for today, which is financial reporting. Okay, let's start with the introduction first.
Financial reporting for government involves reporting on a government's financial condition and its financial performance. The definition of financial reporting is essentially a process of communication of financial information, whereby elected officials need to make informed choices about how to use their government's limited resources to best serve the interests of taxpayers. The financial reporting for government is unique and fundamentally different in comparison to the private sector. Public sector organization is accountable to provide information about financial performance to its respective stakeholders. Next, regulatory framework and procedures. The main purpose of financial reporting in public sector is to demonstrate compliance with legal and contractual provisions, whereby it will improve the accounting and reporting practices of these entities. There are five related legal requirements for financial reporting in the public sector. The first one is Article 99(4) of the Federal Constitution. The assets and liabilities of the Federation must be shown in the financial report at the end of completed financial year. Second is Section 16(1) of the Financial Procedures Act 1957, revised 1972. After the end of every financial year, the financial authority shall prepare in respect of that year a statement of consolidated of revenue account, loan account, and trust account, and also any other related statement. Treasury Circular Number 4 of 2007 for the preparation and presentation of the annual reports and financial statements of federal statutory bodies. The purpose is to identify minimum disclosure requirements in the annual report and also to inform the accounting standards as required. Government Accounting Standards Number 1. It is a guideline to standardize government accounting procedures, involves the principle, basis, convention, rules and regulations in the preparation and presentation of government financial statements. Government Accounting Standard Number 2. It is a guideline for the presentation of financial statements. Financial statements should adhere to the accounting standards and must be prepared and presented in a true and fair manner. It should be consistent with the standard number 1. The last one is International Public Sector Accounting Standards. International Public Sector Accounting Standards Board is a standing board of the International Federation of Accountants. It develops accounting standards and promotes the acceptance of the international convergence to international public sector accounting standards for the public sector.
Next, primary goals of financial reporting. First, to provide financial information useful for making economic, political, and social decisions, and demonstrating accountability and stewardship. Second, information useful for evaluating managerial and organizational performance. There are 6 objectives of financial reporting. First, compliance and stewardship. Second, basis of planning. Third, performance evaluation. Fourth, quality of services. 5, statement of achievement. And last, facts and figures. Next is key accounting concepts. There are 5 key accounting concepts. First, entity. It applies to government as separate entity. Second, going concern. In government, budget only lasts for 1 year. Any budget excess for consolidated revenue account not carried forward, while consolidated trust account is carried forward. Third, periodicity. It is relates to the flow of funds during budgetary period and budget comparison until 31st of January of the following year. Next is accrual. It provides a comprehensive view of a government's assets and liabilities and of its financial performance and cash flows for the period under review. And lastly, matching. It is the allocation received for the year is compared with actual expenditures.
Okay, next we continue on federal government financial statement. The financial statements of the federal government of Malaysia are prepared annually by the Accountant General of Malaysia in compliance with Section 16 Clause 1 of Financial Procedure Act 1957, Government Accounting Standards, and IPSAS, which is International Public Sector Accounting, Financial Reporting under Cash Basis of Accounting. After that, the financial statements are then audited by the Auditor General as required by Audit Act 1957 before being tabled in Parliament in compliance with Section 16 Clause 2. Actually, the preparation of federal government financial statements is to show the financial position, cash flow, and also the financial performance. Okay. The financial statements report on all the financial transactions of the government for a financial year and account for the sources and application of financial resources as appropriate by Parliament. The presentation is in line with accounting best practices to facilitate understanding and users analysis of financial statements. The financial statements contain the statement of financial position, SOFP, statement of cash receipt and payments, statement of financial performance, statement of memorandum accounts, and notes to the financial statements. Okay, now we look at federal government financial statements versus company accounts. What's the similarities and of course the differences. So generally, both provides a picture of the resources entrusted, how the resources were employed during the year, and in what form the resources are now held. The emphasis has always been on producing verifiable statements of income and expenditure, balance sheet, and cash flow. So for the differences, difference here means the difference between federal government's content of financial statement and public companies' content of financial statement. So this table clearly illustrates the differences, where for the federal government, the financial statements known as federal government financial statements. It contains statement by Treasury to the Secretary General and Accountant General, certificate of Auditor General, and all these statements. All the statements stated in the left of the table. This will be discussed further later by next presenter. And while for public companies, in the right of the table, the financial statement is known as annual report. It contains director's report, independent auditor's report, and of course all these statements, SOFP, SOCI, SOCE, notes, and the consolidated. There's also supplementary information which is breakdown of retained profits into realized and unrealized profit statement of directors' shareholdings.